So today we are in a new setup in a beautiful front yard of Tia's home in the jungle of Brazil. And we decided to talk about the shifts that have happened in the last over 3 weeks since Mac arrived. And we were reflecting how many things have happened and who I have become, who you have become in the process, and what this means to us individually, to us as friends, to us as leaders, as coaches, as facilitators, what it means to you as a listener. And we're going to talk about a lot of different things. We have a list of things that we want to talk about and share with you as learning and as some guidance how to live a life that's in alignment with who you really are.
So, yeah, the reason that once in a while we are looking at the right or the left is because we're sitting next to each other just with two cameras because we are in a wider yard. And so, yeah, we will be covering many shifts that have taken place over the last few years about also how people have been reacting to your move, how people have been trying to put you and your life into their box, which is something very common that everyone does all the time, is try to associate how this relates to my personal opinions, my beliefs, the way I look at the world instead of connecting with who you are and what you are going through. Um,
Which is interesting because, so first of all, I took a digital detox for a month and I did, well, I was still checking some stuff and interacting with some people in DMs on LinkedIn, for example, but I didn't share anything for an entire month. And then I returned back like, hey, I'm suddenly in Brazil. And a lot of people were asking me questions like, oh, so are you moving to Brazil? First of all, like, as if I have to be in one specific place, which isn't the case because why not to allow yourself to also just go with the flow and be wherever you want to be. Some people were automatically assuming that this is just a holiday, which isn't the case either. So that's exactly what Tio was mentioning, that people are very easy and quick to make conclusions and to put people into boxes. And that's exactly what happened when I was put into different boxes right away.
for example, like when I moved to Brazil for the first time, I was a bit more clear on this being a long-term move that okay, I am quitting my job at Amazon. I am moving out of Seattle. I'm moving out of the United States. I am moving to Brazil. I am not going to be living in a city. I don't have a postal address. I am going to be living in the middle of nowhere. So it was much more difficult for people to put me in their box. And they were freaking out a lot more because of that. It's like, wait, what are you doing? What's happening? It was very difficult for people to comprehend a completely different life. It's like, you're supposed to have a job, but you're supposed to have an apartment, but you're supposed to have an address, but you're supposed to have all these things. And how can you not have all of this? And how can you not have the convenience of Amazon Prime delivering things to you overnight? And how can you not have the convenience of a grocery store where you just walk and buy things? And you have to drive 20 minutes just to be in civilization? Like, what what is that? So it was so difficult for people to put me into a box because I was shifting to such a radically different life. And you, well, I'm guessing you at least like publicly did not give a lot of details about, okay, I am just changing my life completely. And, you just posted that, okay, I am going to live, or I have been in Brazil for 3 weeks. And people are like, oh, nice vacation. And oh, what are you doing in Brazil? And when are you coming back?
And which city are you going to, or which city are you spending your time in? And I'm like, no, I'm in the middle of nowhere, like literally in the jungle. Um, but yeah, that's the thing. That's it's so easy to slip into how things are supposed to be because that's what everybody does. But actually, I mean, I didn't even plan this to be the way it is. And that's the beauty of it. I embrace the unknown fully, and I just booked the flight over 3 weeks ago, and I was sitting on the plane without having a return ticket. I still don't have a return ticket. And I'm I'm enjoying this unknown to the fullest. And I allow the unknown to teach me what are the next steps going to be and how things are going to unfold in an organic way without me as the egoic me who actually doesn't know shit about how to live life, who's normally going to put some structures into my life. I allow my heart to lead. I allow the unknown to lead, which is the beauty, the magic that creates this essence of freedom and feeling like, you know what? This is the first time in my entire life that I don't want to have a structure. I don't want to know all the answers. I don't want to to know what's next. I want to live so freely that I don't want my ego to get in the way and start deciding how things are supposed to unfold. Because then I will just, I don't know, I will just lose the magic. I love it.
It's also interesting that you say, I don't want, but a lot of people also need that certainty and that structure. They need it, they crave it. And the moment it starts going away, they start feeling insecure and they start feeling anxious and they start planning and trying to control everything and putting it back into a box that is familiar, that is known to them. But when you start creating that trust within yourself, you start realizing, I don't need it and I don't want it. It's not only I don't want it, and then you realize, oh fuck, this is very uncomfortable and I need to go back into structure. You start realizing, I can trust myself to navigate the unknown and be okay, and whatever life brings, I will do something with it.
Mm.
One of the big shifts that I have made in my life and I've helped a lot of people make is to realize that in the victim mindset, a lot of people live in the reality that circumstances are happening to them and they're always reacting to the circumstances and they're victims of the circumstance. I have to deal with all the problems that life is creating for me. Whereas in this empowered stand, where life is happening with you and you are dancing with life, circumstance becomes a resource. Your circumstances are gifts that life is giving you, and you are figuring out how do I weave this into the story of my life? How do I use whatever is happening to my advantage, to my benefit? So it's a completely different way of looking at life as being oppressed by life versus life giving you gift all the time. And what do I do with it?
I love that. And that's the dance between you and the circumstances, and still using those circumstances to your advantage as a creator. Like it's kind of like recycling whatever is happening in your life. And like some shit can happen in life. Maybe you lose someone, maybe you lost a job, maybe recession is affecting your business, like whatever is happening. Okay, how can you recreate yourself? How can you use that to your advantage? Such as I think I mentioned in some of the previous videos that the pandemic was a huge opportunity for me when I suddenly realized, oh wow, I can work online and have clients online, if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Like literally 3 years ago, over 3 years ago, I decided to push myself and to start creating content online simply because the circumstance was that I couldn't meet my clients face to face. And if that wouldn't have happened, my life would have been a completely different story. So how can you use whatever is happening in your life externally to your advantage?
And as you were preparing for this episode, you also started realizing that you have become a digital nomad.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even realize. So basically, years ago, I don't exactly know when, but probably 7, 8, maybe even 10 years ago, I had this dream or vision that I would like to have a base somewhere, such as in Portugal, and have the flexibility to travel the world whenever I please. So maybe go to Asia for a few months, maybe go to South America for a few months, maybe go to the US for some conference or whatever, and just basically just live this really flexible life and be all over the place. Um, and as we were sitting preparing for this recording, I realized, oh, actually, I live it now. And right before moving to Brazil, I was still based in Portugal for over 2 years, and I was still living a very conventional life in some senses because I had a house, I had a car, I had my things kind of planned and in boxes. And then I was sitting here and I was like, wow, I actually don't have a base anymore. I still pay taxes in Portugal. I still have a car there, which is just standing for weeks. But actually, I do finally live the life that I envisioned years ago. And I didn't do it again with my egoic mind trying to mold myself in like, oh, I have to make this happen. It just happened naturally. It just unfolded in this natural way because I was doing something that I love doing. I started doing things that came from a place of passion, from a place of curiosity, from a place of how can I become the version of me that I'm excited to be? How can I do things that excite me? How can I create something that fulfills me? How can I learn things that I feel really curious to learn more about? How can I connect with people that mm, I can learn from and I feel drawn to, that I can call my soulmates? And it's just it's just so fascinating that all of the things that have happened in the meantime, they led to where I am now, which literally fulfilled the dream and a vision that I have identified years ago.
Yeah. And like even when I was telling you, you've become a digital nomad, and you were like, I don't even call myself a digital nomad. I'm like, what are you talking about? So it was the reason I'm emphasizing that is that it was so organic that you don't even realize that that is the life that you're living.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, I want to be a digital nomad and I have to do all these things. It's just like you start living the life that you want to live.
Yeah. And also it's really interesting because it's not a label that I am so fascinated by. I don't care if I'm a digital nomad, if I'm a nomad, if I'm whatever, if I'm a hippie, if you want to call me a hippie, I'm a hippie. It's fine. It's not about the labels. It's not about some kind of, again, like it's not about boxes. I realize that I live a life outside of the box, outside of my own box. Forget about the people who were putting me in a box, like talking about what I gave as examples of people asking me questions if I was on a holiday, but also family, for example, or friends. Nobody is putting me in a box, including myself. Even I don't know what kind of a box I would put myself in if I chose to. I don't know. It's just so awesome to have that freedom.
Yeah, for me, like I was saying, like when I came here, it was so out of any box that either I could imagine or anyone else could imagine. It's like, what is life? What is my life going to be? What I had no idea. So for me, everything was being shaped by the unknown. Like I was living first, I did not even have a house. I was just living in one of the houses that I was given as a volunteer. Then I built this house. So I had a permanent residence. But at the same time, I was working remotely. So I was like in the middle of a digital nomad. I can work and live from anywhere I want, but I have a permanent residence. So I'm working for companies all across the world. I'm doing freelancing, I'm doing contracting, but I'm living in the middle of nowhere without a postal address at the same time. So yeah, it's like you can design a life that is completely unique, completely out of any box that anyone can ever imagine. And finally, it's like you start realizing that you're doing what you really enjoy and you don't have to put any label on it and you don't have to box it and you're just enjoying life, whatever shape it is.
Yeah. I will pick up on two words that you said in the last few minutes. One is design. And I have a t-shirt that says you design yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is such a great way to approach life as a designer, as a creator, as someone who has the power to do whatever it is that you want, like literally. And sure, some people are maybe more talented in one area or another. Maybe I'm not as great of a singer as Beyonce, for example, but there are other things that I can definitely connect with more and embrace that. So that's one word that I would encourage everyone to think about. How do you want to design yourself? Who do you want to yourself to become? How do you want to design your life? How do you want to design your lifestyle? um, and the other word that I want to pick up on is trust, and that's an episode also that we have discussed that at length earlier a few weeks ago. But trust is this element that is extremely important in designing your life. And without trust, again, I wouldn't be here. Without trust, I wouldn't have made all these kind of seemingly crazy decisions to live in the jungle or to quit my job or to end a relationship that I thought I was going to marry this man and I just ended that relationship over 5 years ago. None of that would have happened if I didn't have trust and belief in myself. If I didn't trust myself that I will make it work, that I will create a life that I am proud of, that I'm happy with, that I'm fulfilled by, that I get excited by every single day. And trust is just this element that you you need to reconnect with that feeling within yourself to recreate your entire life for the better. If you don't have trust, then you're not going to have that power. Again, coming back from that episode that we recorded earlier, then you will not have the access. You will not even take the needed steps to reconnect with that power that you do have internally to create the life that you want. That's why trust and power are so important. Because when you trust yourself, you go and reach it and you reconnect with the power that you already have at any given moment. Because everyone has that within themselves. It's just a matter, do you take the deliberate decision to reach out to it, to reconnect with it, and then act accordingly and take the necessary steps to create a life that you want? Or do you just sit around and play a victim like you said earlier?
And also, like I was already thinking about this today morning, and you highlighted the same thing. Uh, I'm looking at not Ruta right now. I'm looking at monkeys.
There are monkeys. Oh,
Yeah, there are monkeys. uh, but basically the distinction between designing your life and designing yourself. The two things are different. One question is, who are you and who do you want to be? How do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to act and how do you want to be? The two things are also different because a lot of who we are is designed by the world. It's the conditioning that's been given to us by our family, by our culture. So others have designed us to be who we are. So designing yourself is one thing. And then there is designing your life, which is what work do I want to do? What job do I want to do? Do I want to be an entrepreneur? Whatever it is, do I want to be an artist? What are the relationships that I want to have? What are the kind of people I want to associate with? So all of that I would put into the category of designing your life. But there is that importance of it's not just about designing your life, it's also about designing yourself and paying attention to both those factors.
Maybe it's even more important to design yourself first as the primary focus, because the design, the life that you will design comes from who you are becoming. So because if it's the other way around, if you focus on designing your life, then oftentimes you just come from the wrong place. So yeah, you're definitely looking at the monkey.
There's a baby monkey.
Where? I see.
Yeah, I'm a bit distracted. um, and then talking about hippies, you're wearing some new colorful clothes. You went shopping.
Finally.
You went shopping yesterday.
Finally, it happened. So basically, yeah, I after living in Europe, I became, first of all, I was a very minimalistic person. I didn't want to own a lot of stuff. So my lifestyle enables me to pack my stuff in a couple of bags and I can move. And I just don't have much. And when it comes to clothes, I maybe exactly have 2 bags of clothes. And when I moved to Portugal, somehow my wardrobe became kind of boring and rather monotonous. Is that a word? Monotonous? It became rather black oriented. And when I came here, not only that Tio was always wearing amazingly colorful things, but also I noticed that people are also wearing colorful clothes. And I realized that, you know what? I also want to, how to say, I want to express myself more as the me who is like Ruta 4.0, not even 2.0, it's like 4.0. The Ruta who is uh, more childlike, more playful, more of an essence of who she really is, rather than the German who is like in putting things into boxes, and the Ruta who is going with the flow more. And honestly, even back in the corporate, actually, I told you, was it yesterday? That I was called a rainbow Ruta at some point because I was actually wearing a lot of colorful clothes at the time. But somehow, just out of convenience, I lost that part of myself and I became very minimalistic with things. And what I noticed is that in my wardrobe, I looked at my wardrobe and it wasn't a hell yes. It was like, yeah, I mean, it's nice, it's convenient, it's easy to wash, it's easy to mix and match and stuff like that. But it wasn't a hell yes. And then yesterday we went to some shops and I was just like, I love these things. It's so colorful and it's so like jungle and it puts a smile on my face. And now every time I look at myself in the mirror, I even look like I'm prettier. I look at myself and I'm like, I look nicer. I look prettier. I immediately smile just looking at my shirt. It's just so amazing. So yeah, I don't know. Am I a hippie? No, I'm not. But
Yeah, a lot of people look at my clothes. So today I decided to wear black so that you can shine more. I have like maybe two black shirts, and they were also not my own choosing. They were gifts. I like maybe wear them once a year or something like that.
yeah,
And today I'm wearing one. But like when people usually look at my clothes, they think I'm a hippie. But like that's also again, putting people into a box. For me, this is part of designing yourself. It's like I love colors. I love to express my because I feel colorful on the inside.
yeah.
I like to be colorful on the outside. And okay, if people want to think I'm a hippie, I really don't give a shit because I know who I am. And yeah, yes, I have some hippie traits and I'm not even ashamed of that. Yes, I am a little hippie, but I'm not just a hippie. That is one aspect of me. I'm also a very normal person. I'm also very uh I am unique and I'm also very human and I'm very not special. So I'm special and I'm not special. That's one of the topics I wanted to talk about today is that there like I discovered in the last week in a psychedelic experience that I had the deep need to get attention for being special and standing out and look at me and look at how I'm better than everyone else and look at all these things I have done in my life. And I started realizing that actually I have another need is just to be accepted for being normal and not being a weirdo and not being special and not being unique. And I'm just another human with very human uh, way of doing things. And I started creating this whole line of work that I'm going to be developing in my own teaching practice of you don't need to be special. You can just be normal and you can not stand out and you can just fit into the crowd and get lost in the crowd and it's okay. It's like you're just another one. I think a lot of people are in that unconsciously and but they're not comfortable with it. They're not comfortable with just being another human. They want to stand out, they want to get attention. Or they're on the other end of the spectrum is that they don't want to stand out and they're uncomfortable having attention for being special, for being unique. And they just want to disappear in the crowd. So for me now, I started coming to the balance where I'm very comfortable getting a lot of attention for being unique, for being special, for people recognizing my being unique and my doing unique and special and talented thing. And I'm also very comfortable just being in the background of a crowd and not being noticed and I'm not special. So I feel like now I am in the balance. I'm comfortable with both ends of the spectrum. So I get to choose what I want to be in any moment. Do I want to be special right now or I don't need to be special and I can just not be special and enjoy that too.
Mm. And when we spoke about it the other day, also you mentioned exactly about that, that like I see you as both. And that's also what makes us have this really incredible connection because I see you as a special human being, um, as as a really incredible human that I can easily connect with in a really deep way. And at the same time, I also see you as just a normal person, just a normal person that I love, that I can spend time with, that I can have silly conversations, that I can laugh with, that I can be authentically, stupidly myself, that we can be acting like kids and things like that, and it makes us just normal human beings. And that combination is just so beautiful. And I think for people listening, I would personally love to normalize being both and being visible. I would love to normalize visibility. And like you said, so many people are either seeking for attention or they are hiding from it. And I would love to normalize just being yourself fully, um, and choosing, like, okay, in this moment I feel like I want to show up and I want to create something and I want to be the leader and facilitate something, and or maybe create content or whatever it is. And sometimes I just want to be a hermit a little bit and do my own thing and lay in hammock for an hour and do nothing, whatever it is. So just normalizing both, as long as it's in alignment with who you really are.
Yeah. And also, like, the third I would add is being invisible in a crowd as well. Like, you're just one of the crowd. You're just not a special human. You're one in thousands. Well, I come from India, from Mumbai. You're one in million. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
And in India, there was a lot of this programming that you have to stand out if you want a good job, if you want to make a decent living, you really have to stand out, because there are literally millions other who are competing for the same thing and who will replace you in a second. So if you're not killing yourself all the time to be the best, you become a nobody. And being a nobody means that you, like, literally, you're just discarded. So I had a lot of programming, which in the last 3 months especially has been uh, unfolding, and I have been discarding, of having a lot of shame for being very powerful, for having a lot of light, for being unique, for having a lot of talent and shining. And that used to make me uncomfortable, because I used to feel like, oh, I don't want to overshadow someone. I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I don't want them to feel small and I am too big. So I had that savior thing of, I don't want to put others down because I am a big personality, big energy, whatever. And there was one aspect of becoming comfortable with, okay, I am big. If others feel small, it's on them. They can choose to feel small, or they can choose to feel inspired and grow themselves and shine more. So that is what I used to becoming very comfortable with receiving attention and being the center of attention for some time. And then I started realizing, like, because I finally met that need of being special, being unique, and getting attention for that, because I met that need, I could finally see the other end of the spectrum of, like, okay, now that that need is met, I can also not be special for some time. I can just get lost in the crowd. I can be alone. I can be unnoticed. And I'm super comfortable and I'm super happy just not being noticed for something. So it's really, like, work. For me, it all comes down to shame. Like, it's all about shame. And for me, that is the deepest layer of our being. A lot of people say that fear is the deepest driver, and I don't agree with that at all. Fear is very powerful, it's very important, and it drives a lot of people. But once you overcome fear, once you've crossed that level, then you come to the real deal, which is shame. That is a much deeper layer, and that controls us a lot more. So I have overcome a lot of the fears that a lot of people have, like the fear of death, the fear of failure, the fear of making mistakes. All of that bullshit for me is like, okay, it's done. I don't care about dying. I don't care about living. I'm okay with fear. Then I came to shame and I was like, holy shit, there's so much here. There's so much to unpack here. And that's what I've been working on in the last few years. And again, I feel like now I feel very comfortable having resolved deep shame issues. And I'm like, okay, now I'm okay as I wherever I am.
And that's why, like you said earlier, you have the colors inside of yourself because you cleaned all the shame and regret and fear and all the deep dark colors that were actually just contaminating everything else. So I think that's the beauty also when it comes to
I would say just like a small interruption is, like, instead of saying contaminating, I would say that I was using them to hide.
Mm,
Like I was using, I had a fully black wardrobe, and I was using that to hide. That was a mask. Like I can just disappear in the background. I can become invisible in black. No one sees me.
yeah.
So it's not contamination. I would say it's more like a mask. It's hiding.
Yeah, yeah, true. And that's the beauty also of people who are listening to this, or anyone who is seeking. Then why do they start working with people like us? Is because they want that colorful internal world too. They want to release all that stuff that's darker, and they are drawn to the light, and they want to do the work, and they reach out because they want a better life, a happier life, and they're willing to do the work that's required because, well, like, we have these conversations to be open that, well, it doesn't come automatically, and it does require a lot of inner work, and it does require a lot of responsibility to be taken, a lot of agency, a lot of ownership. But damn, it's so good on the other side. Damn, it's so light, and it's so beautiful, and it's so peaceful, and it's so joyful, and it's just, even this morning actually, I caught myself for like a split second that, oh, I didn't sleep so well, and that, oh, I didn't sleep so well was potentially going to be a trap to not have an excellent day. And just that split second, I just caught myself that, you know what? No, I'm not going in that direction. I'm choosing to have a colorful day. I'm choosing to have an amazing day. I'm not going to allow lack of sleep to again to just ruin something so precious, because every single moment is a precious moment, because every single moment is now moment that we could choose to live an amazing life. And so those people who are listening, they can choose to live a colorful life.
Yeah, there was an insight that a client friend of mine shared that I like. He said I helped him realize very much in line with what you're saying. Like he basically used to have once every week he would have a headache, and he would just take the whole day to feel like, oh, this is a bad day. That was his definition of, oh, today I have a headache, it's a bad day. And in one of our sessions, I was like, why?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? That's ridiculous.
Got out from the bed on the wrong foot.
Yeah. Like, what is a bad day? Oh, you're having a headache. Just deal with the headache, and you can do other things. And okay, maybe you need to rest today and just enjoy resting. And that's a good day because I'm enjoying resting today.
Yeah.
Or I'm dealing with some difficult stuff, and when I'm done dealing with the difficult stuff, oh wow, okay, that was a productive day also. So this whole idea of a bad day is a myth. It's something in our heads. We put that box. Today is a shit day, and I'm going to feel miserable. You know what? If you just need an excuse to feel miserable, just give yourself permission to feel miserable today. You don't have to say it's a bad day. You can just say, today I just feel like feeling miserable. Fuck it. I'm just going to sit and mop in bed. I'm just going to pity myself for a day. And I'm going to enjoy that also. And I do that once in a while. I'm just like, fuck, life is not always great. And let me just feel a little shitty for some time. And I
and
give
eat some pizza.
no, pizza is good day food. No, feeling miserable means like I have to eat something I don't like. Like, oh, I'm not even enjoying food anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when I've had the last miserable day, but if I just want to feel miserable, I don't need excuses. I'm just like, today I want to feel miserable. Today I just want to lay on the bed.
And you know what? It also makes you empowered because I'm choosing to feel miserable. Exactly. It's like, I'm the king of my day. I can choose to be miserable. How empowering is that? It's just a matter of perception.
Yeah. Today I'm choosing to feel like a loser. Today I'm choosing to feel like
I love that.
Like a shit. Okay.
That's so empowering. That's such an awesome paradox where you actually choose to do that. And it's like, that makes me feel so in charge over my day and my life, that I can choose however I want to feel today. How powerful is that?
I have not done it for a long time because I think I mentioned in one of the recent episodes when I think we have an episode titled "Wasting Time to Heal Depression." That's what I titled it. Where I literally gave myself permission for 2 years to feel like shit. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to spend 14 hours in bed watching Westworld. It's okay. I feel like shit. I'm going to allow myself to feel like shit and just watch TV mindlessly. And it's okay.
Yeah.
So I really like for 2 years, I was like, I feel like shit and it's okay. And now today, if I feel like shit, I usually don't feel like shit because I don't feel like shit. But if I feel like shit, it's okay. It's okay. Like, okay, I had a fight with a dear friend today. Okay, I don't feel great. I'm going to ruminate a bit about it. I'm going to feel like I want to complain. Okay, today is that day.
Which is acceptance also.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, accept your emotions, accept whatever is going on, accept that you don't feel so great today.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Because what makes it worse is judgment, self-judgment, and fighting with yourself and resistance, and what you resist persists, right? So if you don't allow yourself to just have that miserable day and feel whatever it is that you want to feel or that you're feeling, then it's going to persist even longer and harder, and it's going to be impressed in your subconscious mind even stronger. So when you let yourself feel whatever you want to feel and be miserable for a little while, then fine, it will just flow through you, and next morning you wake up one day and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, it flows much faster when you're not fighting it and you're not in that compulsive mode of I need to be a positive person. I need to think positively.
Oh,
I need to feel good.
that used to be huge. I used to be this like super bubbly person, and I still am in some ways, but I'm also much more calm. I'm much more stable. I'm much more balanced. I'm much more peaceful. And sometimes I still have those bubbly moments, but in the past it used to be my mask. It's like, oh, I'm this bubbly Ruti. Ruti's always bubbly. Ruti is always so active, and Ruti is Ruti. But now it's like, Ruti is so fruity. But now it's like, yeah, it's a part of who I am, but it's no longer a mask that I am supposed to wear all the time and pretend like I'm always supposed to be that person.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'm much more harmonious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the compulsion goes away. It's like I don't have to be positive all the time. I don't need to feel good all the time. I can feel like shit a little bit. I can feel good a little bit, and I can just feel neutral most of the time, and it's okay.
Yeah, I love neutral. I love neutrality. Like just feeling harmony and balance, and not having these ecstatic ups and really low lows. It's like it's just like
gentle wave.
It's just so gentle and so comfortable, and I I love that.